I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the AWM NFL podcast. My name is Riccardo Stewart. They call me the coach. I got the opportunity to be your host, and I'm joined by Jeff Locke, the professor, always dropping knowledge, Zach Miller, the truth, telling you like it is, and the man himself who gets everybody's vote, Sam Acho, the mayor. So we talked about on a previous episode, essentially how easy it is to lose your money or to go broke as an NFL player. And what we were doing was we were looking at the decade reunion or anniversary, whatever you want to call it, of the 30 for 30 episode. And what we like to say is, it's pretty easy for your money to go away if you don't have a plan. And what we said is, in order to create multi-generational wealth, and what we mean by that is not only do you have millions upon millions, but your kids, and not just your kids, but your kids' kids, and so forth. And what we said is okay, we're looking about a net worth of $30 million. And we just talked about the statistics. If you gave $30 million to 10 people, not just athletes, to just 10 people, what are their statistics that they'll actually reach that multi-generational wealth? And what the stats let us know is 1 out of 10. So what the athletes who are hiring us are choosing to do is to be a part of that 10%. That 10% will actually have multi-generational wealth. And we said, okay, for that to happen, you got to develop some skills. And there's at least 5 skills that you got to be able to develop. And today, we're going to talk about the first skill, and that is human capital. Here's what happens inevitably. You get a guy who's looking for a different agent. He's in the NFL. He's been there for 3 or 4 years. He might go, I want to look for a different agent. Or you look at a player who's coming out of college. I'm looking for an agent. And they get to look at an agent or some sort of marketing, and they say, I need to find somebody that's going to help me create value. And we usually go, time out. You need to look no further than in the mirror, because the only person that can create value for you is yourself. The job of the agent is to go find a team or sponsors and so forth to pay you for that value. The job of your financial team is to be able to take the money that you've created from your value and be able to make it last and grow. But ultimately, creating value is up to you, which means you have to develop the understanding, the knowledge, and the skill set of human capital. And in short, all we're talking about is your knowledge, your skill, your experiences that make you who you are, that you create value. So with that, I'm going to start first with you, Jeff. And that is, we often say when it comes to human capital, when we're talking to our athletes, we say it is the most important investment you have is into your body. Why?
Yeah, so the body part of human capital is the physical capital, right? And the reason it's most important is getting that next contract or realizing your entire contract is going to be the best investment return you can have, right? Think about it. Like, when it comes to what we do for our clients, they've earned the money, it's gotten taxed, and then we go out and deploy it. We make it earn money on itself. But still, we're just earning money on the money you already have. We're talking about new money actually coming in, right? When you actually go out and earn a contract. So we've probably all seen the stories about LeBron, right? LeBron's out there, investing millions of dollars a year into his body, but it helps him go and earn that next max contract, which he's gotten a couple times now. That's the same thing we're talking about on the NFL side. Investing in your body is really the best thing you can do to earn more.
Okay, so Zach, we use the language hitting the lottery. We think hitting the lottery is getting to the NFL because very, very few people get there. And then if you can hit the lottery again and again, that's that second contract, that's that third contract that Jeff was talking about. Okay, you've hit the lottery twice. How did investing in your physical capital, how did that help and how did it hurt?
Yeah, to get to the second contract, you have to invest. And it's one of the best decisions I made was to invest in my body, invest in my recovery. Literally all the cold tub, ice baths during training camp, weekly massage therapy, nutrition, tracking calories, tracking macros, getting to my perfect playing weight with the body fat that helped me make the Pro Bowl. That ended up paying off for me when it came to my second contract. I'm in my contract year. I make the Pro Bowl that year. That allows me to be the highest paid tight end in the league at that time when I signed my contract, because I was able to make a Pro Bowl because of all those sacrifices and money investment I spent on my body during that first contract. So I heard it yesterday in the games. The Ravens are playing and they're talking about Derrick Henry and how much he spends $250,000 a year on body maintenance, and he's avoiding fried foods. He intermittent fasts, avoids refined sugars, like all of those things. You see, like the elite players that play really well for a long time. You have to do that at some point because you're only in your early 20s until you're out of them, and then your body and that recovery, it just takes longer. So to get to second and third contracts, you have to invest in it.
That's the line. You're only in your early 20s until you're out of them. Gosh, that's the truth. So, with this human capital, you got the physical we're talking about, and then there's the social, which we'll get to. But then the second component is intellectual. Sam, I mean, not very many people embody the intellectual capital part of human capital as much as you do. And so I'd love for you to explain like intellectual capital and then tell our audience on how they can develop and grow value through their intellect.
Definitely. So intellectual capital is what you do with your mind, with your brain, not just your body. That's physical capital, your training, your lifting, but also using your mind. For some people, it's going back and getting their education, which the NFL or NFLPA will actually pay for you to go back and finish a degree. Maybe go back and get another degree, right? And sometimes that just I think about what I do right now. In addition to working at AWM, also I'm on ESPN, I'm on TV, and some of the smartest people I've met also work on TV, right? Think about people calling games, people hosting shows. These guys, I didn't realize that, you may not know it. These guys are brilliant. These guys are very, very intellectually sound, and they're using their mind to make money after their 30s or after their 20s, right? That's like an ultra unique opportunity that a lot of us have. I remember when I was playing, I went back while I was playing and got my MBA from a school called the Thunderbird School of Global Management. It was in Arizona. I got it in the off seasons. I was playing with the Cardinals, right? I went back and not only did I get my degree, but also made great relationships with people, relationships that I still have to this day. And so your intellectual capital is the stuff that you don't necessarily use with your body, with your brain, building that up through education, through even right now, there's stuff I'm studying for and I'm working on to kind of keep my mind sharp so that whether it's an agent talking about something or somebody's talking about, finance, whatever, I want to know a little bit. I want to have a little bit of an idea of what's going on in and around me. So that's that intellectual capital piece.
So physical, intellectual, and now we get the social. Sam, I'm actually going to stay with you because you've said this before that when it comes to your social capital, it's like when you call somebody and they see your name on the phone, do they want to answer? Like what kind of brand, what kind of reputation, what kind of person are you? So explain more what you mean by that particular phrase.
Your social capital is comprised of a few things. Number one, it's comprised of letting your yes be your yes and your no be your no, keeping your word. So let's say you are supposed to show up for an event with your team on a Tuesday, on an off day, a community event. It's you saying you're going to show up and then actually showing up. Why do I mean that? I mean that because not only does that build your brand, if you will, from a team perspective, not the coaches and the scouts, but like the people inside the building, community relations department, right? The PR department. Not only does it build your brand there, but it also builds your brand in the community as well. I was having a conversation with somebody this morning who runs a really big nonprofit in Chicago. We actually partnered together and helped build a food mart in what was a food desert. And she talked about how it seems like some of the younger players don't understand the importance and like how like being in the community can help you. Your social capital. You're known not only on TV, but also in the community. So that's that idea of letting your yes be your yes and your no being your no, your social capital, committing to your commitments. The second piece I think about is this idea of like, who are you when the helmet and the shoulder pads come off? And that person can be defined right in the classroom, in the community, but that's essentially, we talk about your character. Like, who are you? Who is Riccardo Stewart? Who is Zach Miller? When I started working at AWM, they mentioned, hey, Zach's on the team. And I already knew Zach from playing against him, but also knew his character just from the little I knew about him, from people I asked about him, right? That last name that you have carries weight. And so it's letting your yes be your yes, your no be your no, committing to your commitments, and also understanding the value of your last name, right? The fact that you're in the NFL right now is already a huge idea of social capital. Oh, wow, person X or player X plays for my favorite team. It's going to open up so many doors for you. But what do you do when those doors open up, right? Community event. Are you showing up on time? Are you showing up early? Are you keeping your commitments? And then like, how do you treat people? People don't remember always what you said, but how you made them feel. So that piece is going to carry with you much longer than however long you play in the NFL.
Jeff, sticking with the social capital part of human capital, as an athlete, as a player, I mean, as a person, how do you develop this skill and how do you get better at it?
Yeah, it's interesting because like guys like Sam, they've had it since birth, right? They just have this like innate skill. He still has to refine it. He still has to work at it, but like it's easier for some people to use it, right? It's just really literally genetic or the way they were raised, right? But either way, whether you have it easily or not, there's still the discipline aspect and the commitment aspect, which is the most difficult thing for a lot of players, right? You're working all day, you're working out, you're studying your playbook, right? And then at the end of the day, you got to think, oh, I got to get back to that person that hit me up 2 days ago. Oh, I got to be consistent and follow up with that community event like Sam's talking about. I got to make sure I'm there. And when I show up, I got to be actually present there, right? Not thinking about other things and being seen as that guy, right? So it's like anything else, it's just one of those things you have to just keep at it and keep doing it, even when it's the last thing you want to do as a current player.
Yeah. Well, as a former player, Zach, let's conclude with you. What would you tell an NFL player now on where to start? I mean, we're talking human capital, physical, social, intellectual. Like, what's most important? Where do I start?
I think the most important thing is to keep the main thing, and you are going to generate the most amount of wealth by being the best football player on the field, staying healthy, taking care of your body, and then when that moment comes, being rewarded for it in the form of a contract where those earnings eventually become that wealth. And that is going to be your biggest chance at having generational wealth. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to develop intellectual capital and your social capital as part of that. But the main thing is to go get it on the field while you have, because there's only so many years you can actually play at an elite level. I don't care who you are. There is a timer on how well you can play and for how long. So maximize it as much as you can, get it. And then after you've done that, and while you have capacity or the ability to do other things, that's where you really develop the intellectual and the social, because there is more time for that. There's less time for that physical part.
It's good. Like we said, there's 5 skills. Today we talked about the human capital. Next week, next episode, we'll come back. We'll talk about taxes, the cash flow game, making sure every dollar you have has a job, and then athlete CEO. Listen, if there's any questions you have, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at 602-989-5022.